Hi everyone, I'm back after being away for seems like forever. I'm a little rusty and I'm going to do my best to do a Facebook Live with you today. And I'm excited to do that because I've been really missing crafting with you and just crafting in general. So where have I been? We've fulfilled actually, for me, it was a childhood wish to visit Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island. So we explored there and had a ball, and then stopped in Ontario on the way back and attended a family wedding. So we had a full month away. It's not the time of year we like to be away because it's so beautiful here, but it was the time of year that worked for us. So it was a wonderful trip. So that being said, we're going to go down to my desktop in just a moment here, just after I introduce myself. My name is Lillian from Stamper's Niche, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator coming to you from Alberta, Canada. And I'm just so glad to be able to be with you today. Now, as we go down to my desktop, I like to throw out a question to get the chat going and so you can visit with each other. So what is one thing that you have enjoyed doing this summer? So that's what it is. One thing you've enjoyed doing this summer. So for me, it was a trip of a lifetime, and let us know what it is for you. Okay, and we'll just go down to my desktop and get things situated here. There we go. Seems like no matter how I set up ahead of time, it looks different when I go live, but we will make it work. So there we go. So on my desktop here, you will see a couple of sheets of paper, and I just wanted to bring them to your attention before we get started. So just making sure I can see your comments on the computer. There we go. So first off, there's a brand new paper pumpkin on the 11th of each month. A brand new one is released, and in this one, it's called Farmhouse Florals. We even get an extra stamp set. A bonus stamp set that's free. So in this Farmhouse Florals, you make 9 cards, so 3 each of 3 designs, and you will have the stamps, and you will have a little Secret C ink spot, and you'll have all the goodies you need, including gorgeous envelopes to go with that. So if that's something that interests you, either scan the QR code here or go to my website, either here or here, or reach out to me, and I will let you know how to go about doing that. So Karen, yes, it's a vacation we thought might never happen because we've planned it so many times, and we are just thrilled. It was likely one of our best holidays ever, I have to admit. I even read Anne of Green Gables just before going to Prince Edward Island, not back, but going to. It was wonderful, and they're gorgeous, gorgeous provinces. So what I'm going to share with you today is a project. It's going to be a fun fold. It's also going to use this brand new stamp set, Prairie Grass. Now, you know me, or those of you who do know me, you know that this is just the type of imagery I absolutely love. And then on our holidays, we were often by either oceans or lakes. We were by water so much of the time and saw lots of these kind of things. But they also remind me a bit of the prairies and the wheat fields. The canola is gorgeous right now. When we landed last week, when we flew into Edmonton, the yellow fields were just gorgeous from the plane. So anyway, I digress. So this stamp set also has wonderful sentiments, which you can use with these images, or you can substitute other sentiments, either way. So where did I find that stamp set? I found it in our online exclusives. So every couple of months, Stampin' Up! Releases some new items right online. So if you go to my website, right here, and then depending on your device, but finds the 3 little lines, and it says Shop Now. So we'll click that, and then we'll click here, and you see the heading Online Exclusives. I could have even just typed it in the search, but if you put it in there, you will see the newest on mine. So how did I make sure it's the newest? If you press on sort, you can do newest, oldest, prices high to low. If I want to find my bundles, I go prices high to low there. But anyway, I've got it set on newest. So I'm just going to scroll down. We're going to be using this lovely Sunflower 3D embossing folder a little bit today too. So that's where you find that. All kinds of wonderful things, but we're scrolling down and here it is right here. Now, if I want more detail, remember, just click on it and it starts to tell you more, and then you can even say show more and it tells you all kinds of things. So that's where you find it in the online exclusives. So just go to my website and start exploring, or even just enter Prairie Grass in there and you will be all set to go. So let's move that out of the way. So we're going to use that. We're also going to do a fun fold, and it's a very simple fun fold, one we've done many times. So we've got 5.5 by 8.5 thick basic white, and we're going to score it at 4 1/4. So that's in half that way. So we've got it at 4 1/4. So if we folded it now, it would be in half. And then for one of these pieces, we want to be in half again. So that is 2 1/8. So go to the 2, go to the 2 1/4. The little bit longer line in between the 2 is 2 1/8. And so we will score that. And so this fold is very familiar to many of you. So we're going to fold in the middle first, making sure we've lined up our edges like that. And then we'll bring this one back, forming that Z. And we have our basic Z fold. But this is not your basic Z fold when we're finished. Catherine, you just ordered this stamp set. Ooh, yay. It is a fun one. And this is the first card I've made with it because it just arrived yesterday. So we're going to have some fun. Alrighty. Now, many of you ordered the two-tone cardstock, which is pretty new to us, but it is cardstock that comes 12 by 12, and one side is likely almost truer to the Stampin' Up! A regular cardstock, and then the other side is a tone lighter. Now, I know some of you are saying, where do I find two-tone cardstock? Well, there was just a promotion, and many of you did order it, so I thought this would be the perfect time to share another project with it. I've shared a few. So on page 76 and 77, you see the two-tone cardstock here, including White Willow as well. But if you don't want a whole package, you just want a selection, you could also look in the memories area, and you get packages with an assortment. And that's how I've been building my collection, is by doing that, ordering that. But there's one more place you can look for two-tone cardstock, and that is here where all of our color families are. And if you look at the very bottom category, 12 by 12 two-tone cardstock, and then you can get it in the color you want. So I am finding I am actually using a lot of two-tone cardstock right now. So I did stock up during that sale, and hopefully you did too. So here is a piece of Pool Party two-tones cardstock, and it is 4 inches wide by 10.5 long. I've scored it in the middle at 5 1/4. So when we fold it like that, when it's folded, it is 4 by 5 1/4, which is usually, if we have a card, that's our sort of our standard basic layer, right? So we've got that piece there. Then we're going to have some other things as well. But let me just show you, let me show you a finished card using this style. This one is done with designer paper. Today we're using two-tone cardstock, but it's your basic Z fold like that, and it looks like it's just designer paper here, but actually it's an extra one like that. So that's where we're going with this. So this is actually going to be layered on what we call the inside right here. It's going to be centered like that. Before we do it, it's a little bit boring. So let's bring in some scrap paper and the stamps from the stamp set. So we're using this great big one, and we're going to create a bit of a background here. So I'm going to ink it up with Pool Party ink. So it's going to be tone on tone. And I just re-inked my Pool Party, so it's likely pretty inky. And I want it to be subtle. It's just gently in the background. So I'm going to stamp it off once. I wrote myself a note because I'm not right on it all the time these days. And I'm going to open this up so it's nice and flat. And I'm just stamping it in the background, just gently like that. And that's forming a background. It's sort of making my own designer paper. So now that we've got that done, and I should close this up, we're going to actually fasten it in. So I'm just going to use my liquid glue. Just a little bit and not too close to the edges because it does like to ooze out. Like that. So here's our basic card. It's a Z fold. When you open it up, you can go like this. And because it's two-toned, you've got your lighter tone on the inside. I should have stamped on the inside as well. I didn't though. So, well, we can always add lib a little bit, right? Let's mask this off because I don't want ink on those other places. Pardon me. Like that. And I want this nice and light, so I'm just going to huff on it. Sorry for the heavy breathing, but what I've just done is reactivated the ink, and it's already been stamped a couple of times, so it's going to be pretty light there. So there's a way of just fixing that problem because I got inspired after the fact. So we've got that, and we're going to put something in there to write on in a minute. So we've got this like that. How many of you are loving this fold already? I originally saw this fold done by a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator named Lynn Dunn, but I've seen it done a few other places. I just love it. So now we're going to bring in, again, the two-tone cardstock, same color. So this is largely a monochromatic card. And we're going to use the new Sunflower 3D embossing folder. This embossing folder is amazing. So look at the detail on that. It is absolutely gorgeous. And it's one of the great big ones. So you could actually get a couple of sheets in there if you wanted. We're going to just do one little panel. So, and because it's not going to matter if we have it straight or not, we're going to put it in fold first. We're going right down to the basic platform number 1, then our embossing folder, then the specialty plate number 4. So if you get 3D embossing folders and they're gorgeous, make sure you have the specialty plate number 4. I just had someone contact me the other day asking why their 3D embossing folder wasn't working the way they thought it should, and they had neglected to order this. So they were going to play with some shims, and then they had that on their next order. It's an easy fix. So just like that, we've got it done. And there we've got it. So there's the embossed side, and there's the debossed side. I actually love both of them. But I wanted to just share, you can do so many things with designer paper. And one is you can actually sand it a little bit and get some white. You can see a bit of white coming through here because the center of the paper is white. If you sand it a little bit, you get some white highlights because the sanding, and I'm just using an emery board. You can use some fine sandpaper or whatever you happen to have. And I'm not going to overdo this. I just want to add a bit of interest. Another thing that you can do is you can drag your ink pad over and highlight it with ink that way. But now you can see that we have just highlighted just a little bit like that. And this is going to go here. So we've using our two-tone there. We're going like that. Oh, I meant to check, but it's too late now. But I wonder if another card, if I should use the lighter side. That would be a possibility too. Not happening on this card because it's already got glue on it. But if you're making this at any time using your two-tone paper or whatever, you can give that a try. Now you could also do something in here. I'm choosing not to. So we've got our basic card like that. Now let's do some stamping. I decided to use the Arches dies. Now if you see on this one, this was done with circles. You can use whatever shape you want. Rectangles, diamonds, whatever. Punches, that kind of thing. I chose to put this one here a little bit smaller. If you decided they were going to be the same size, I would be very, very careful that it's going to be hidden when it's all done. Oh, Catherine, you and I must have been on the same page. You got the embossing folder as well. Super. So we're going to use these. So we're using these two here. These two here. The bigger one is going to be for here, and this is going to go on here. And then I use this one for the liner, for the insert. So for the insert, I used arch number 3, if you count from the outside. And then for the card itself, I used 1, 2, 3, 4, arch number 5 and arch number 6. But you can just play around and use whatever you want. I had that flipped over so you could see it easily, but we can get that out of the way now. So we've got those 3 arches here. So this is going to be for the inside. We're going to put that to the side for a minute. This is going to be the outside, and then this is going to be the second layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my Pool Party ink, and I'm just going to add some color in the middle. So I'm using my blending brush, and I'm just going very lightly. I can always press harder later, but I can add color, but I can't take it away, right? So I'm tapping here to get the excess off so I don't get a real blob, and just adding some color. And I think I might want it darker down here and then gradually getting lighter. You could add, you know, if it was a sunset, you could add some of your purples and yellows and oranges or peaches. I'm just going to stick with Pool Party right now. And that's likely good. And then I want to do the same with this one. Starting lightly. And just doing that soft swirling motion. And now I'll add just a little bit more pressure, not much. There we go. I think I want a bit more color on here. Just down in this corner. There. Just like that. Then when I was designing this card, I thought, what color would go with the Pool Party, but it would be, you know, it would stand out for my stamping. So I went to my color wheel, and I went and I put my, on Pool Party, and I looked around and I thought, ooh, Lost Lagoon. I was leaning towards Lost Lagoon, and then I went one notch over and went to Pretty Peacock, and really liked how that turned out. So it's a little softer than your black ink, and it creates a lovely effect. So let me get that out of the way, and let's bring in, here we go. Let's bring in the bulrushes for the big one. And I just put my finger right in the ink pad. That's why I keep a cloth around, or a rag, or a tissue. So we've got that, and we're going to put this here. We're going to leave some room for some words. I just love the look of a silhouette on a sponged background. So we've got that. Now we're going to bring in these grasses here and do the same here. I think I caught an edge. Oh, well, we will. And then I'm going to just, without re-inking it, just put another one here. So we've got that for the inside. So we've got that much done. Then we are going to add our words. Now, I could see this card being for birthdays or whatever, but I wanted to just show that you can build the inside and outside of your card right from these words here. So very sorry, my shoulder is yours. In other words, we're looking out for you. So very sorry, sending the healing power of love. Or you're not alone, I'm here for you. Or sometimes life is just hard. So you could even split this one up. Sometimes life is just hard. So there are different ways of letting people know that you are there for them. So I'm going to do so very sorry here. I can actually get rid of that now. And so very sorry. Just like that. And then for this one, because it's just going to be on the inside, I was going to do, where did I put the stamps at? I was going to do my shoulder is yours, but yeah, that one wouldn't fit. You're not alone. Let's do this one. You're not alone, I'm here for you. There, and I covered up my little mess with that one, and it all worked out. So now let's put this card together, and you'll see just how quick and easy it is. Let's put the liner in first. It's going to go here. So again, just a little bit of adhesive, not too terribly much. And this gives you lots of room to write. You could just cut the rectangle too, but because I had the arches out, decided to go with it. Now let me just check things out. If I put this here, and if I put this in the center here, will this be covered? Pretty close, so that's going to work. I'm not going to have to worry too much about placement because I had some layering dies. So there's a good question for you. What layering dies do you like to use? Now, I'm going to only put adhesive on here, and then I'll put a little bit here. And now when I put it down, we will go like that. And now all we have to do is embellish. How many of you are liking this style of card? I quite liked it. In fact, I've made a few. And I made them before we went on holidays so that I would have something to show you when I came back. And then this came, and so, it was all good. So we have the party dots. So we have some pool party dots here. We could use those, but I kind of think I'd like to use the adhesive back dragonflies and birds. What do you think? Yeah, I think the dragonflies and birds. Okay, let's put some of those on. And we will put one there. Put one there. And I'm going to put one up here, and then when I open it up, it will also be part of that one. So what do you think? Do you like this style of card? Do you like this fun fold? So as you can see, let me know in the comments what you think, whether you're watching in real time or in watching the replay, and whether you're watching on YouTube or watching Facebook Lives or on my Facebook. So yes, it stands up beautifully as a Z fold card always does. This is the one that I was showing you earlier. So the florals, let me see. Yeah, Florals in Bloom is the designer paper here, like that. And then here's another one made with the Florals in Bloom too. So here's another shape. So these two are from the Stylish Shapes. And then this is Grow with Love stamp set, like that. And then You Are Remarkable is the words. So those are those two. So some of the other layered dies that would work really well are the textured notes. So you could use that. I already mentioned Stylish Shapes. Round It All is another set of dies that I have been really enjoying, and they're on the last chance list. So they were originally $47. They're now $32.90 in Canada. So you could check whatever country you're in, what they are, but they are on sale and they are lots of fun. So speaking of those, let me just share with you something I made with them. So here are the Round It All dies. So I use that as my base. This is the Secret C two-tone cardstock with the coordination, and then the darker C, a Secret C there. So just another little heads up about that. And then of course I've shown this before, but you see your two tones of the cardstock right here. So that works out beautifully as well. So thumbs up. Who's going to give this a try, this fold a try, and maybe share what stamp set or what paper you're going to use. So here it is done with the two-tone. Here it is, and it's two-tone cardstock is lighter than regular cardstock, so it works well. It's a little heavier than designer paper. So, or you're going to use designer paper, what designer paper? Let us know which ones you're going to use, all right? And remember, the PDF for this card will be in Thursday's newsletter. I put out a newsletter every Thursday, so this Thursday coming up is July 17th, 2025. If you happen to miss it, just send me a message and I can always send you one. But the PDF will be in Thursday's newsletter. And do take a look at those new items that are online. Look at this folder, this stamp set. Good stuff there. Hope you're having a wonderful summer. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.